All right, good morning. This is Andy Brownstein with Green Herlocker, and I've got Abby Johnson here with me from the Virginia Pace Authority. Welcome to our September version of the 10 at 10 briefing. I'm not going to spend any time on introductions. You can find my biography on the website. You can find Abby's biography on the Virginia Pace Authority website. And in order to maximize use of our time, we're going to jump right into it. So this month, we're going to talk about one of my newest favorite topics, and certainly one of Abby's, as it's her expertise. We're going to talk about CPACE. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning and ask Abby to tell us, what is CPACE? What is CPACE financing?
So CPACE stands for Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy. It's an innovative financing product that basically allows a property owner or developer to finance 100% of soft and hard project costs related to an upgrade to a building or a portion of a new construction project. These improvements that you can get 100% financing for are related to energy efficiency, renewable energy, water conservation, and in Virginia, resiliency measures like floodproofing, hurricane hardening, and stormwater management. So basically, a lot of really great improvements can be made to your building through CPACE, and it's fixed rate financing up to 30 years.
So how does this differ from somebody who wanted to typically take out a mortgage on a property for either renovations or for purchase, compared to just getting a traditional first mortgage, or even a first mortgage plus some sort of construction-based financing to handle the improvements? How does this differ from that kind of financing?
Right. So, I mean, it's really, for a new construction project, I would consider kind of gap financing. So it basically replaces a portion of the equity you would need to infuse into the project, because you don't get 100%. Construction financing, certainly your takeout financing would not be 100%. So you have to put in equity, and instead of putting in 25, 30% equity, you can put in 15% equity and the other 15 with PACE. For an upgrade property project, rather, because it's 100% financing of a project, that's obviously unique. There's nothing out of pocket, which is really valuable, particularly right now. But in general, if you want to save your cash or your reserves, you can, because you pay it back basically, twice 30 years. And what makes it different is that it's really a property asset-based financing. It's secured to the property, meaning that it actually acts as a special assessment on your property. And so if you do CPACE financing and it's on the property for 30 years and you sell your building, in 2 years, it stays with the property. So it's non-accelerating. So that's unique as well. Also, because it's asset-based financing, it is non-recourse. So it's also attractive because it's all basically based on the property and the property value, and to some degree, the cash flow.
So let's dig into that a little bit more. So what you're saying is that in these types of loans, an additional assessment on top of your normal property taxes will be placed into the property assessor's records for the property. So if you borrow $200,000, or let's make the math easy for 30-year loan, $300,000. So $10,000 a year additional property tax payment, so to speak, and a special assessment, it will be placed on the property. So instead of paying back your lender directly, a lender will make you the loan. You will make your payment to the municipality, the jurisdiction where you're located. And via an administrator like yourself or others or the county themselves, if they administer the program themselves, they will remit the payment back to the lender.
Right. So, there's actually a few different, that's the general way, it works. I would call it, CPACE is private financing facilitated through the public realm. So it is a public-private partnership in a way, in the sense that you are able to get the ability to get 100% financing, because it is a voluntary special assessment that can be enforced by the local government in case of default, but you're getting private capital. So, you really be able to negotiate terms like a traditional loan, be able to, access your own energy auditor for the project, which you typically need in order to make sure the project saves energy or water, but it's facilitated through the public process. So yes, you can either have it go as a special assessment on the property tax bill. It doesn't trigger the reassessment of your property. It's just another assessment. Say if you got a street light kind of upgrade to your HOA, for example, just as an example, you would put a lien to pay for that street light improvement, but it wouldn't change the way your home or your business is valued.
So if some of the people listening to this might be savvy lenders or understand how the lending world works, if you have something that's attached to the property taxes, many people will be thinking, well, wait a minute, why would a first lender allow this to happen? Because those property taxes are typically viewed as being senior to the loan, and to have a $300,000, to use my example, lien that arguably is in front of the first mortgage might not be acceptable to that first lender. So two-part question here. How does that work? And are lenders generally, amenable in other places around the country where CPACE is available, or in Virginia for that matter? Are they amenable to working with CPACE lenders or make CPACE loans?
Right. So, PACE as a public-private partnership requires a state law that allows it to exist and allows local governments to have an ordinance which provides property owners the ability to have this kind of voluntary special assessment on the property. And so as part of our state law, and then also the local law, we're requiring that existing lenders, mortgage holders, give consent to a CPACE loan. So you won't be able to, you have to get their blessing, so to speak. And the next question would be, well, why would they ever agree to this? Well, number one, you're making your property more valuable by lowering operating expenses, by mitigating the risk of things like by flood-proofing the building. Also, you are allowing for cash to be used for other things in the building, for example, tenant improvements. And perhaps most importantly, because it stays with the property and it's never accelerating, you're never going to have to pay back the whole $300,000 in case of default. You're only paying back what's past due. So just like a property tax, it keeps going.
To go back to my example again, $300,000 loan, $10,000 a year. If it's assessed twice a year, $5,000 per every 6 month payment. If a property owner defaulted, the lender would only be quote unquote behind $5,000 worth of potential. Yeah. So if they needed to foreclose, they could make whole the $5,000, not the whole remaining 300, whatever was left of the 300 stays on the property. And if they had to foreclose and take ownership and sell it to somebody else, that assessment would stay with the property. They wouldn't be obligated to pay that assessment off. So and
I would say this is becoming, it started out as being a difficult sell, and as more and more lenders become familiar with it, they like it. And actually what's exciting is that we're trying to encourage community banks and local lenders to use it as an extra product. So banks like Eagle they use PACE to finance about 25 million for the soccer stadium in DC. And it had all sorts of other kinds of financing, the capital stack. But Eagle Bank thought, hey, I can't do this in my traditional lending environment. However, I can use it because it's a long-term kind of annuity. I can actually use PACE because it's a security interest that I have. So we're excited that banks actually can participate, not just consent.
So we're, as always with our 10 at 10s, the time goes by really fast. So we're going to try and hit 2 or 3 really quick things and then get out of here and get people their mornings back. So first, let's quickly run through in more detail the types of things that people would be thinking they could improve. So everything from lighting, LED lighting, better windows, HVAC upgrades, low flow faucets and toilets, shower heads, all those kinds of things. Solar panels. Yeah. You said flood improvements, so hardening, resiliency for flood prevention in the tidewater, flood walls, hurricane shutters, and other kinds of window improvements. Yeah. All that.
I would also say you could do things like for stormwater management, help pay for some of the swales you might want to put in, bioswales, pervious pavement, green roofs, all sorts of things. It's a very wide list. We're trying to be inclusive as possible. So instead of us saying you can't do it, bring us your project, bring us the improvement, and we'll tell you whether or not we can figure out a way to include it.
But all the standard kinds of energy efficiency things that people typically think of would generally be included.
Sure. All the obvious plus stuff you might not think about as well.
Okay, fair enough. Secondly, CPACE is available in a number of states. I believe something like 35 states or more around the country.
Yeah.
In Virginia, it has been approved since 2015, I believe, but it is not available in every jurisdiction. Real quickly, let's run through the jurisdictions where it's available. And then let's, for the last minute or so, talk about what we can do to help expand CPACE financing in Virginia availability, as well as for anybody who's listening who might have a potential project where they think CPACE is a good choice, but it may not be available in their jurisdiction. What should they do? So
Okay.
let's talk about all three of
So
those.
I'll do the quick rundown. So CPACE is available in Loudoun County, Fairfax County, Arlington County, the city of Fredericksburg, the town of Dumfries, city of Petersburg, and will soon be available in Norfolk, Lynchburg, Roanoke, probably Richmond within the next year. I know you guys are in Richmond. And the reason why it's piecemeal is because every local government has to pass an ordinance to allow it. We have statewide legislation that will allow now local governments to opt in to a statewide program, which should be open probably second quarter of 2021. And that'll facilitate the adoption at the local level. And we're all excited about that because obviously we need geography, we need to have it spread out. And I would say in terms of getting folks to have, you have a project in a jurisdiction where I didn't mention right now, the way you would have it, get it done pretty quickly is to have a project. We've seen things turn really quickly and the ordinance passed within a few months.
Petersburg, for example, Petersburg got their ordinance started quickly because
and Lynchburg
brought them
too.
a project and said, I want to finance this with CPACE. Please pass an ordinance, and they worked together to get that ordinance passed.
Fredericksburg, Loudoun, Petersburg, Lynchburg, at least those. And
all were driven by people bringing projects to the jurisdiction saying, please put this in place so I can take advantage.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to make up this, we have a lot of examples and case studies. You can go to the pacealliance.org, which is BPA's part of. It's a Mid-Atlantic Pace Alliance. It's basically the 3 states, Maryland, DC, and Virginia, working together to try to create a cohesive market, particularly for the Northern Virginia area. And Maryland and DC have done a lot of CPACE projects. So
they're way further ahead. They're much further ahead than Virginia in that, correct?
Yeah, you can also look at our website, virginiapace.com as well, and see some of those case studies. But I think we're going to get a lot of deals done the next 12 months. So I'm excited. Great.
Any last thoughts? We're at 10:13. We're going to try and get out of here quickly. Any last thoughts for our viewers about what they should be doing?
Well, I just say, particularly, in times of potential, where I think conventional debt is kind of tightening the credit, criteria. PACE really can help fill that gap, and it's actually, pretty competitive price wise. So just contact either Andy or me, and we can give you a deeper dive.
That's great advice. So we're excited. I've known Abby a long time, and we're excited to be working together to try and bring PACE financing to more places and more people in the Commonwealth and beyond. So as she said, feel free to contact us. Go to our website for more information. There's been some blog posts on the Green Hurlocker website about CPACE and its use. Abby's got a lot of information on the Virginia PACE Authority website as well as pacealliance.org, which you mentioned. Thank you, everybody, for being in attendance, and keep your eyes out for our announcement for October's 10 and 10. We'll see you soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate it.